If there's two things I love in this world, it's video games and knitting. Everybody's favorite combo. So I thought I would attempt to knit different clothing items from different video games. With all of the hype around Animal Crossing with the new update, I've been inspired to knit the mom sweater. So I headed over to Michael's to just pick up some yarn. They had a couple options of pinks that I thought would go well for the sweater. They had this sort of bubblegummy pink, and then they had more of a light millennial pink, if you will. I thought that the bubblegum pink matched the sweater more, but they only had 2 skeins left. So I decided to make the sweater in this lighter pink color and then do the hot pink sort of, or bubblegum pink accents. And then for my little duckies, they didn't have like a good yellow or orange. So I picked up this one that has little like flakes in it of like black. And I was thinking I could just pick them out like when I actually use the yarn to make little ducks. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to knit the ducks sort of into the sweater as I go, or if I'm gonna embroider the duck design on top. So future me will have to deal with that. I'm not using a pattern, but I've made my fair share of sweaters before. So I'm just gonna make a little gauge to see what needles I think will work best for this type of yarn, and then get to knitting. So I just finished my little gauge, and it looks like my 8mm needles are gonna work best to create that sort of chunky look for the size yarn that I have. I sort of wanna aim for more of an oversized sweater for this, to give it the same sort of comfy mom look and vibe that I'm going for. Also, looking at the sleeves of the sweater, I usually like to make sort of oversized sleeves. Like, I'm a big fan of the balloon sleeves, but these sleeves look, while oversized, a bit more tapered and consistent in size. So I'll have to sort of write out and map out how I'm gonna do that too.
So the first thing I like to do when I'm knitting a sweater bottom up is knit the sleeves. After my first cast on, I did a few rows of ribbing of the darker pink for the little cusps, and then switched over to the lighter pink for the main part of the sleeve, which I knit in all stockinette. After the sleeves were completed, I began working on the body, again casting on with a dark pink and doing a few rounds of ribbing before switching over to the light pink yarn for stockinette.
Here we are the next day, and I finished knitting both of my sweater sleeves. They unfortunately didn't come out as oversized as I was hoping, but I was able to sort of keep the consistent increasing, which kind of gives it the more uniform shape rather than the balloon sleeves, which at least I was going for, and then it gets more wider right where the sleeves are going to attach to the body. I was able to sort of map out what I was doing increase wise with the first sleeve, and then just follow exactly that with the second. So they're as identical as my knitting capabilities can make them. So I kind of love it. The ducks, they look a little bit large. They're a little bit large. That's maybe also because like this is kind of cropped. It kind of hits like right, my belly button is like right here, but I wanted it cropped because, you know, crops, who doesn't love a cropped sweater? I would say that I accidentally made the sleeves a little bit too large, but I'm really like happy with the shape, and the duckies are so cute. So when making the ducks, I like halfway just kind of free knit it, if you will. But I knew that I would mess up and I wouldn't like the shape if I just kind of did it like for the first time, like on the sweater. So what I did to sort of like map out how I wanted the ducks, birds to look like, I knit a little square like this and knit in like Fair Isle style the little ducky. So like I had a general sense of like what I was doing. I didn't end up liking this shape that much. I feel like I liked the tail, which honestly the tail didn't really translate here as much. I sort of took this base shape and like sort of morphed them into and to the ducks here. And I wanted them to all look a little bit different. I have learned from my mistakes. Before I would just go for it when I was knitting. I was like, okay, like I can do it. Like that seems easy. And then I would mess up, obviously. So, you know, learn from my mistakes, make a little test knit. I know like this like wasted like maybe like, I don't know, like 30 minutes of my life trying to like figure out how I wanted this to look. But like in the end, like it probably saved me a couple hours because I didn't have to go back and redo them. For my final thoughts about the sweater and like the whole process, I mean, this is pretty obvious, but it's a lot easier to like knit a sweater when you're following a pattern and not just kind of free knitting it. I actually had to redo part of the sweater, like a little bit above the ducks to here is basically what I had to redo. When I was knitting it, I wasn't decreasing, I think like fast enough, and then I panicked and then I like decreased like a bunch of stitches rather than just like staying consistent. I like unraveled it to here and then like redid this little top section and made it a lot smaller. Saved some pink yarn, so that's always a plus. Another thing is I think in general I made the sleeves a little bit too big, and I think I made the ducks a little bit too big compared to like the size of the sweater. I mean, I don't mind it because like the star of the show is the ducks. I mean, come on. I think like overall it's still super cute. Like it's a good size for me, and I like can see myself wearing this a lot in the future. So I was able to knit the whole thing in like less than a week, because like it's not that big and the yarn is like super chunky. So the hardest part was like honestly for me like embroidering and then obviously redoing it. But like I don't know, I think it's super like manageable for like even like a beginner knitter. So yeah, let me know if you want to see me attempt to knit any of the other mom sweaters from Animal Crossing, or if there's another knit piece that you want to see me try to make. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.